Welcome back to A Haunting in Colorado. Tonight's episode is very, very exciting. Tonight we're going to be staying at the Black Monarch Hotel up in Victor, Colorado, which is a ghost town. Many, many haunted locations in Victor. We actually went out and bought a book on the ghosts in this area because there are just so many legends. This book, Haunted Cripple Creek in Teller County, goes over Cripple Creek, Victor, and all the surrounding areas. This is written by Linda Womack, and her father, I believe, was one of the mine owners. So she knows a lot of the history about these towns, and she truly has done her research. So the Black Monarch Hotel is a beautiful, beautiful place if you love goth, Victorian, serial killer, macabre type style. The actual building is reportedly haunted, and it really ties in well with what the owner is trying to do here. Black Monarch Hotel offers an over-the-top immersive art experience for those who fetishize nightmares, and this is the latest addition to the thriving haunted hotel industry that has become big business in Colorado. The owner, Adam Zimmerly, is a contractor in Denver. He was up in Victor one day eating at the Fortune Club Diner, which is the only restaurant, for the most part, in Victor. He noticed a building across the street was for sale and vacant. Beautiful building in his eyes. Everyone else thought it was kind of trash. Needed a lot of work. He got it for a great price, bought it, and created something truly magical. As of right now, the Black Monarch has 4 hotel rooms, including rooms based on the themes of HH Holmes, America's first serial killer, Elizabeth Bathory, and if you've ever seen in movies where people bathe in their victim's blood, they got those ideas from a true story, and that was the true story of Elizabeth Bathory. Another room based on Nikola Tesla, who was actually rumored to have wired the building while he was staying in nearby Cripple Creek. And the last room is the Black Annis room, based off of a terrifying legend of a witch who hides in the forest and eats children. Make sure you stay tuned till the end of this video because I will be telling more in-depth stories about each of the room's themes and go into detail about why these people were so infamous. Upon entering the Black Monarch Hotel, you'll see a beautiful black and white checkered tiled floor, gorgeous beadboard covering the walls, as well as beautiful wallpaper, Victorian tin ceilings with a gorgeous pattern, and a staircase that leads right up to the main hall. Once you arrive in the main hall, you'll see a gorgeous painting where you're not really sure what's going on in it. It's a little unsettling, but it's very cool none the least. You'll see a lot of stuffed taxidermied animals here, a ton of serial killer memorabilia. You will find books on all of the characters which the rooms are themed after, wanted posters of the assailants, and oddities and curiosities of all sorts. We stayed in the HH Holmes room when we stayed at the Black Monarch, and I'd have to say that is probably the second best room there. Very spacious, 2 queen beds. The beds were so comfortable. When you open up the huge closet, there's plenty of storage space and 2 black robes hanging in the closet for you to use. Although the hotel still holds many old historic original features, it does have a lot of modern updates, some even more modern than most hotels I've stayed in recently. They do have a smart TV with Netflix, which made for a very enjoyable, relaxing evening. The plush fur blankets on the bed are incredible. So soft. They even have an extra plush fur blanket in the closet, along with extra pillows. Plenty of lamps and lighting throughout the room, and the room holds great lighting for doing makeup. It truly is a fascinating, wonderful spot to take photos. We did some portrait shots here and I absolutely love them. The decor on the walls is something like you've never seen in a hotel before. You'll see a wanted poster of HH Holmes, a layout of his murder hotel. Again, stay tuned to the end to hear that whole story. You'll see a pitchfork, a scythe on the wall, and many other cute decorations such as skulls and old antiques. The room does have USB outlets as well as anything you could need as far as technology. And one of the parts that still gives the old, authentic feel to this hotel is that they do have a shared bathroom. The bathroom is very nice. It has 2 sinks, a very large remodeled shower made of stone, and a separate room for the toilet, which is also black. The other common area here is the kitchen. They do have freshly ground coffee, which you grind yourself and put into the pot. It was an extra step to my coffee in the morning, but wow, was it delicious. The fridge is filled with anything you might need, milk, butter, anything like that. You could store some of your food in the fridge, but each room also does have its own refrigerator. The HH Holmes room costed us $160 for a night. Booking was very simple. It's an Airbnb style hotel, so when you walk in, you'll punch the code on the wall to get the key, and go inside and get to explore for yourself. The owner does send you a very nice email including everything you need to know, including rules. As creepy as a hotel as this may seem, it's actually a very comfortable place. One of the first things mentioned in the rules is that all female guests will be treated with respect. The owner says in your reservation confirmation email that any guests who make any female feel uncomfortable, or if a female just feels like she's been hit on and feels uncomfortable at all, she can text the property manager and they will remove this person immediately. It does feel very safe here, plenty of locks on each door. The only other guests here while we were here were 3 really nice girls who did show us around their room. They stayed in the Tesla room, and that was a cool room to see. Definitely staying in that room next. I think that's the coolest room at the Black Monarch. It's gorgeous. And it's massive. So let's get into the history of this hotel and the little ghost town in which it resides. We traveled to Victor while COVID was still in effect. Some things are closed down, but you still can do many of the attractions. One thing that we couldn't do was the tour of the Molly Kathleen mine. In that tour, you can actually go down into the mine and experience the eeriness for yourself. These mines have a lot of history. A lot of competing mining companies would get into brawls, and a lot of battles came about between these mining companies. You can still visit the beautiful Sunnyside Cemetery located in Cripple Creek. This is a very cool cemetery, especially this time of year when all the aspens are orange and yellow. Gorgeous. Apparently there's a gravestone here with the name Fred Krueger on it. So Victor is now partially a ghost town. It has very few residents who still live there. Its neighboring city, Cripple Creek, however, took off with the gambling, and it's very populated. Although the two towns are very different today, back when they were first created, they were very, very similar. The only difference being Cripple Creek was more of a political town and where the mine owners lived, and Victor was kind of more of a rough and tough city where the miners lived. The miners loved to party, they loved their women, their booze. The miners were a little bit more lower class citizens. They tend to have more fights and parties and stuff like that. They typically spent all of their money on the places in the town, like the brothel, the saloons, the mercantiles, and come to find out the mine owners owned all these little businesses, so they were paying the miners very poorly and then getting all of that money right back into their pockets. They named the town after Victor Adams, who was a homesteader here. The town looks authentic, just like any old ghost town you could picture, including the false-fronted businesses that line the streets. Make sure you subscribe to our channel because we are going to be doing another whole video on Victor. We're going to make a little series out of this trip because there were way too many things to cover in one video, and the Black Monarch definitely deserves its own. Also check us out on Instagram at grunge_priestess for daily creepy facts, updates on our channel, and all sorts of fun creepy stuff. In 1892, Victor had roughly 18,000 residents, making it Denver's 5th largest city at the time. The Independence Mine was one of the largest mines at the time, and it was located in Victor. It made a multi-millionaire out of a man named Stratton. Right around this time, the huge Victor fire took place, burning mostly all of the businesses. Right after the fire, they put up tents for their businesses and ran saloons, little stores, bars, brothels, all sorts of businesses out of these little tents. They did get smart, and after the fire, many buildings were built of brick instead of wood. This fire was put out by the very early fire departments with buckets of water. So right across the street from the Black Monarch, you can still find the Victor Hotel, and this is a very, very fascinating haunted place. We are doing another video strictly on the Victor Hotel. In the Victor Hotel, they still have one of the 2 remaining birdcage elevators in America. And a man actually died in the elevator shaft. He was up late one night getting ready to go down to the main floor. The elevator attendant was not standing there, which he thought that he was, and the elevator was actually located down on the first floor. He took a step over the edge, thinking he'd step onto the elevator, and fell 4 stories to his death. Many recent guests have reported hearing this man say, "Be careful," as they enter the birdcage elevator. We had a very strange experience on that elevator as well. Make sure you stay tuned for that video. So the Black Monarch Hotel's original name was the Monarch, and it was a brothel. The original owners were Samuel Burris and William Sexton. The 1899 fire did burn down this Monarch Hotel. It was rebuilt shortly after by Sexton. The first level used to be a saloon and a gambling hall. Upstairs bordered the bordello or brothel, and this is where all of the hotel rooms are today. The bordello catered towards more of the high-class miners, and it was kind of a luxurious, fancy place where they could just go and get some company for the night. They didn't have much else to do. They typically worked, partied, and slept. So they did spend a lot of time here. This business flourished until 1912, when the town took a huge hit. They weren't finding much gold here. Also, the war was starting, so a lot of the miners were drafted off to the war. They didn't have any miners, no gold, so everyone just kind of left. It's in a remote location up in the mountains, so it's not really easy to get to, especially from Denver. So if there's no gold there and no workers to find more gold, of course people are going to leave, causing a ghost town. This is how many of the Colorado ghost towns became what they are today. Another reason why some of these ghost towns closed down was the devaluing of silver, because a lot of these mines did mine silver, and when that lost its value, there wasn't much going on there. So after it shut down, W.H. Martin purchased the property, and he opened the business to be the Monarch Mercantile Company. Sadly, he was out of business by 1916. So Adam bought the property in May of 2019 and completely reimagined it into something very artistic. So there are 4 rooms available in the Black Monarch right now. There are 5 more rooms to come. You can see there are renovations being done on the hotel right now. Rumor has it that the new 5 rooms are going to stick to the old serial killers, the originals, the OGs, if you will. So no, we're not going to get a room on Ted Bundy or anything like that. I'm thinking it might be something like Jack the Ripper, some of those really old serial killers. So it's said that Adam has found a lot of these strange decorations for the hotel at different garage sales and estate sales. So the hauntings of this building go back pretty far. A miner actually died in a gunfight here, and a lot of the workers said to see his ghost almost immediately after he passed. The workers also saw many strange lights in the saloon. Many guests have reported seeing a ghostly woman looking out from one of the upstairs windows when the hotel was empty. There are plenty of strange sounds, objects that move on their own, and a lot of guests have reported hearing large parties downstairs consisting of over 100 people. Actually, Adam, the owner, when he first stayed here, he had an encounter where he was sleeping there alone doing some renovations, and he heard a huge party going on downstairs, and he walked around. He thought someone had broken in. There was no one to be found. We actually had this experience. We didn't experience much of anything else here, surprisingly. I think maybe we were so excited that we weren't really tuned into that third eye sense where you're able to experience things like that. However, when we were sleeping at night, I want to say it was around 3 a.m., which is when all of these occurrences have reported to have happened from other guests as well. I didn't hear it, but my cameraman woke up at 3 a.m. to what sounded like people partying downstairs. And there's not really anything downstairs right now. It's mostly just, it's being renovated. There was no one there working on it that night. Like I said, there were 3 other girls staying there, and they were in bed super early. So we're not sure what all this noise was. There's nothing right around the building where people could be partying. There is the diner right across the street, but it closes around 7 p.m. So we're not sure what this was. One of the caretakers said that he's seen people leave after only a few hours of being there. They couldn't even make it till dark because they were so afraid. So another thing to think about is, there are a lot of hauntings, like residual hauntings in this building because of all of its history, but a lot of the objects that the hotel is decorated with could hold some type of spirits or entities on their own. Especially when you're decorating rooms based on these serial killers, maybe you're getting some attention from their spirits, you know? They wanted to be infamous so bad that maybe they're still striving for fame and looking for people who are interested in them and trying to show, you know, I'm still here, this is what happened, this is what I did. Guests have also woken up at 3 a.m. to hear women laughing and men screaming. I'm sure that, you know, it was a brothel. I bet you some of these minors maybe fell in love with some of the prostitutes and maybe they fought over them. The women laughing, you know, who knows what these women were like. The whole town is said to be haunted by the sex workers that worked at the Monarch. So we have something very exciting for you guys. We are going to be doing a little drawing where anyone who shares this video on your Instagram or Facebook will be entered for a chance to win a free night at the Black Monarch Hotel. The night will be completely paid for by us at Haunting in Colorado. In order to enter the drawing, all you have to do is share this on your page, subscribe to our channel, like this video, and comment below that you shared the post. Also, in your comment, please reference which room you would like to stay in. Like I said, we have the HH Holmes, the Nikola Tesla, the Elizabeth Bathory, and the Black Annis. So let's dive a little bit deeper into the stories of the characters that these rooms are based off of. We're going to start with America's first serial killer, HH Holmes.
$1,000 reward to turn in HH Holmes for insurance fraud. He changed his name multiple times in his life, and he committed fraud of all types, but insurance was a big one. This is actually what led him being caught for his murders. We also have the HH Holmes Murdered Castle map. If you guys don't know about HH Holmes, he had a hotel. And it's funny because this hotel kind of gives vibes of what really happened with H.H. Holmes. So he had a hotel, right? He had it built. He built the third floor to have all sorts of tunnels and chutes and rooms that you could get in but couldn't get out of because he would lock people in there and throw their bodies down the chutes. He murdered so many people in this hotel. And no one ever questioned it because it was such a nice hotel. Everything seemed so legit. People would go exploring up on the third floor and find these weird rooms and kind of say something, and then they would end up dead as well. Really interesting story. And then here you are in the Black Monarch Hotel, which is one of the creepier hotels. This place actually is a little bit haunted, and the themes are also super based on serial killers, so you're already feeling like you might be in that kind of H.H. Holmes hotel scenario.
Hopping right into Nikola Tesla. He is actually the one who invented electricity. A lot of you guys have probably heard that Thomas Edison invented electricity, and he actually kind of stole Tesla's ideas. Tesla was kind of seen as one of the mad scientist types. People thought his ideas were a little bit crazy. They thought he was a little bit off his rocker. However, he was extremely intelligent. He was a wonderful inventor. His experiments were truly fascinating. There's a show that you can watch on Tesla on the History Channel. Many episodes of the things he did. Definitely check that out. But what I think is the most interesting thing about the whole Tesla story is that there's a kind of conspiracy theory that he was killed by the FBI or by the CIA. So he was paid off to actually quit doing his experiments and kind of just lay low for a while in his last years. In these final years, he was staying at a hotel in New York. They paid for him to stay there as long as he would kind of keep his mouth shut and let Thomas Edison have the light for a while. And it's funny because 3 doors down from his hotel room, CIA agents had been staying there watching his every move. Tesla had 12 barrels of studies and reports of the experiments that he did. However, when he was found dead in his hotel, a number of these barrels were found missing. Some people think the CIA agents went over there and killed him. His cause of death was listed as a heart attack, but coroners can easily be paid off, especially in this big of a conspiracy. So maybe they went into his room and killed him. Maybe he did die of natural causes. Maybe they were waiting for him to die so that they could go in and retrieve these reports and then just be done with it. And the last legend, the last room of the Black Monarch, is based on the Black Annis legend. This is a very, very old legend dating way back, I think early 1800s. It was said that this witch lived in the forest named Black Annis, and that she would kind of hide and wait for little children to be running around, and she would catch them, skin them, drink their blood. It was just this horrifying legend, and there was actually a lot of truth to this story. There was a witch living in the forest. Not saying anything bad about witches. I myself am Wiccan, and no, not all witches are evil, I promise you. Most of us just like to try to heal people with natural remedies and herbal magic. But this particular witch, she was awful. People did go missing in those forests. There's a bunch of stuff that goes into that legend. Some of the drawings of her and art portrayed around her are very, very creepy. I would love to stay in the Black Annis room at the Black Monarch. That room has a bed that hangs from chains from the ceiling, so you're kind of floating and you can sway back and forth on the bed. One of the locals was telling us that she actually used to work there and she loved cleaning that room because she would just lay in the bed and swing back and forth on it. How fun. Also, a ton of witchy decorations and occult type artwork is in that room. It's beautiful. Moving on to Elizabeth
First of
Bathory.
all, if y'all have been varying, check out her video on Elizabeth Bathory because she does a great, very full length description of what went down. But Elizabeth, so she was very, very wealthy. She was actually, I want to say she was lined up to be queen. She was living in this castle, right? And she was married to this guy. It's kind of a set-up marriage. And he would be away a lot of the time because she had a hobby that was a little bit strange. She liked to murder young girls in her free time. And her husband was kind of like, you know what, like, he was forced into this marriage. It was set up by both of their parents. They were both wealthy and set up to be heirs of thrones. So they kind of had to get married. They had to like each other. Divorce wasn't a thing back then. So she's like, you know what, I'm just going to go with it. He helped her torture girls sometimes, but she mostly did it alone. She was kind of a solo flyer. She kind of felt embarrassed or bad about herself, and she would show that side of herself to her husband. So she liked to keep it a secret, even though he was mostly okay with it. She really did a lot when he was gone. So he'd be gone for work pretty often. She would try to convince him to be gone for longer or go more often so that she could partake in her little hobby. You know, when you have two secret lives like you see in movies, like of course she's trying to do that, you know? So he's gone a lot. She hires so many servants and maids, and these servants and maids also would be partaking in these murders. They didn't want to, but if they didn't help move the dead body, bury them, burn them, whatever, they would also be killed. So they kind of felt like they had to do it. She was lined up to be queen, and anything that she said went where they were. If you did something wrong on the streets or questioned her, you would be hung. There was no questioning Elizabeth Bathory. So whatever she said went. The maids didn't question her whatsoever. She started a young girls' camp, told all the parents around town that the girls would be coming to the castle to learn an etiquette class, you know, how to fold your napkins nice and how to hold your teacup with your pinky out. And they would actually go there and go missing. And all these people were like, where are our children? So sad. And they never were able to find them because everyone that did know who it was knew it was Elizabeth and knew that they couldn't cross her. So it just kind of went unpunished for so long. I heard that she murdered over 600 young girls. I don't even want to talk about it here on YouTube because I don't want to get flagged, but really, really bad, you guys. Like, the worst. And the thing that she is most known for, which is probably what you guys have heard, she used to bathe in the victim's blood because she was epileptic when she was younger. And back then, like, these were the wild, wild west times with medicine. For epilepsy, they would rub the blood of a non-epileptic person on the patient's lips. And supposedly they thought that would help the epilepsy. So weird, right? So from a very young age, she kind of thought that bathing in someone's blood or having it on your skin was a very positive thing and something that would heal her, keep her healthy and young. She did notice a youthful appearance when she would use the blood on her face, so she kind of just became addicted to that, and maybe that's what got her into murdering. I think medical practices like that need to think about, well, obviously they don't do that now, but they should have thought about how will this affect people using this? Is this going to cause them to lead on violent lives or cause violent, partake in violent actions, you know? So when she was a little older, yeah, she's killing all these girls, and she was found one time bathing in a bathtub full of blood. That's what she's known for. There's a lot of movies that show that, and that was actually where all of those movies and stories originated, was from Elizabeth Bathory. Super interesting story.
So, what do you guys think the themes for the next 5 rooms are going to be at the Black Monarch? Do you have any insight on this? Adam, if you're watching, can you give us a little tidbit into what's to come for the Black Monarch? We're truly excited. Again, make sure you share this video for your chance to win a free night stay. We will be doing the drawing 1 week after this video airs, and we will message you if you win. Make sure you share the video, check your messages, and we hope that you guys get to come and stay here for free. And if not, definitely make your way up here if you have a little extra time and money. It's a great vacation spot. I know that all of you guys who are into our videos are into stuff like this, so definitely it's right up your alley, and I think you're going to love it. Make sure you check out our videos on the town of Victor, the haunted prison in Cripple Creek, the haunted mines in Victor, the Haunted Victor Hotel, and many, many more to come. Thank you all so much for watching. Have a great evening.